Be sure to subscribe and click on the bell for notifications on future uploads. Hello everyone, Simon Bard here, or you can call me Sully, and welcome back to Sulli-Ween. And I'll start this month with the annual Tim Burton review for Disney's 100th anniversary, but this film was released under their former sister studio Touchstone Pictures, yet is now in its 30th anniversary, and one I surprisingly like for a true story movie of one of the worst movie directors of all time, only to gain a big cult following. First released in a limited release on September 28, 1994, before gaining a wider release on October 7, 1994, it is the simply titled Ed Wood. Director Tim Burton had made a nice and interesting comedy drama based on the book Nightmare of Ecstasy, The Life and Art of Edward D. Wood Jr. by Rudolph Gray, with nice characters, a fun little story, and good cinematography and music. Set in Hollywood in the 1950s, Edward D. Wood Jr., or Ed Wood, is an aspiring filmmaker, yet had a flop in the theater with his play The Casual Company. And even when trying to land a directing gig for his new movie, Ed meets his hero, the horror movie actor Bela Lugosi, who's planning to die given he's broke and addicted to morphine. But Ed gives Bela a chance to star in his movie Glen or Glenda, which was originally called I Changed My Sex, which he received after much convincing to the producer, Georgie Wise, that he's qualified. Yet Glen or Glenda was only in limited release to 3 states, but Ed continues to make films with his crew and Bela, from Bride of the Monster, originally titled Bride of the Atom during production, which faced financial troubles and Ed's girlfriend Dolores Fuller breaks up with him, to Plan 9 from Outer Space, originally titled Grave Robbers from Outer Space halfway through production, being financed by heads of a Baptist church who had issues with Ed's directions. I have heard of Ed Wood and of his Plan 9 movie, but I haven't seen any movies that he made, including Plan 9. Mostly because I wasn't too interested in seeing them, and not based on their reputation. However, after seeing this film, I'm actually interested in seeing Ed Wood's films, as this film presents a fun look into the making of low-budget filmmaking, as how to not do one while portraying the career of a failing filmmaker with lots of passion in every project he makes, regardless of bad quality, production, and or performance. And Johnny Depp, as the title role, brings that passion in a charming and very likable way. His character's eccentric attitude towards his love of filmmaking and friendship with Bela really shines through even in times when problems occur, from not having enough finances to finish a film, to making changes to get a film made, to filming only one take of every shot, to not having everything fully prepared on set, to shooting at a fast and brisk pace, and to helping Lugosi with his issues of being a drug addict and being broke. Not to mention his secret of dressing up as a woman for fun or comfort, whether it be for Glen or Glenda, or as a Harlem during a rap party for Bride of the Monster. Even some people couldn't stand looking at Ed in drag, like the Baptist producers for Plan 9, or Ed's ex-girlfriend Dolores. And speaking of which, this film does showcase some drag queens, or cross-dressers, and Bill Murray as John Bunny Breckenridge wanted to be trans after seeing Glen or Glenda, but couldn't. The cinematography looks very well made, all shot in black and white with good lighting and angles to evoke the time period, and the same goes for the music done by Howard Shore. Yep, this is Burton's first feature film without Danny Elfman scoring, but Shore's music does have a hint of Elfman in it, despite most of it being heavily inspired by movie scores of the 1950s, and Ed Wood films, I presume, as well as the use of a theremin used extensively in the opening credits. The only piece of music that's not from Shore is the opening to Swan Lake by Peter Lynch Tchaikovsky, which is used when Martin Landau as Bela Lugosi is having some dramatic moments, and the same music was also used as the opening credits to the 1931 Dracula film, which starred Bela Lugosi. And speaking of Lugosi, Martin Landau does a nice performance of him to win an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor, and the makeup he's given and the familiar Romanian accent he uses makes Landau very much like Lugosi, seemingly perfect. The only problem I have with this film is Ed Wood's encounter with Orson Welles, played by Vincent D'Onofrio. Not because it didn't happen, but because D'Onofrio has his voice dubbed by Maurice LaMarche, doing an Orson Welles imitation that's been done in animated series like The Critic, of him voicing Orson Welles, and Pinky and the Brain segments in Animaniacs, of him voicing Brain. Yet it really feels off here, as D'Onofrio really looks dubbed in this, and it's kind of distracting. Other than that, the whole film is very neat. It's unlike anything Burton has done then or since in terms of doing true story movies until Big Eyes in 2014 with the same screenwriters. I always associate Burton with fantasy or some mix of horror or sci-fi, but this one, with it being more reality and having drama, is not too bad. I enjoy it for not just being a Burton fan, but for its acting, its music, its cinematography, and all its passion into the look of one of Hollywood's notorious directors in a fun and likable fashion. 3 Halloween Mickeys. And that is it. So thank you for joining me. Like, comment, subscribe, follow on Facebook or X, support me on Patreon, and until next time, for more of Sulli-Ween.